What's up, my people? I am Van, and we are all the LFR family. That was the introduction was for the people who don't know who I am, and I want to say thank you and welcome to everyone else who are just now joining the family. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. All right, it's a gang over here, gang. We love our people over here. All right, we'll whoop somebody's ass for you. All right. So shout out to my main man, A Watts from Patreon, who asked me to do this video right here, to check this video out. And that's what I plan on doing. And hopefully I get something good from this, man. I don't listen. I know. God dang it. I know, and it's late. So if I start acting ridiculous, look, charge it to my mind and not my heart, okay? And what I'm wearing on my heart right now is the Welfare Boy hoodie. And the reason why you can see through my body and can see the brick of the old building, of the old dentist building that's around my old neighborhood, is because this area right here is a dark green sign that says Livingston Road. That's the name of this street right here. The dark green being that I have green screen behind me. That's just how this whole thing works. Matter of fact, I don't know how it works. Technology, right? So let's check this out right here. Let's have some fun while we check it out. And feel free to let me know whatever you want me to know in the comments. All right, let's do it. Thanks again, A Watts.
And I think you can see I'm having a good time. I really am.
Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs.
Take a look at her. She's a slob.
Slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
This dude done hurt so many daggone people feelings. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I can't believe that people was getting their feelings hurt because he was talking about Rosie O'Donnell, man. Because he's talking about Rosie O'Donnell? Why? Clearly they was beefing. They was publicly beefing. And he was getting the best of her whenever he got on a microphone. And, you know what I mean? She got to eat that. Don't beef with anybody who's more clever than you. Facts. Or they're going to eat you up when they have an audience or when they get on a platform. They're going to eat you up. Don't beef with anybody who got more exuberance than you. Huh?
Like you wouldn't have your job if you weren't beautiful. They're worried about my...
Wow.
Now the story...
That's true, though. A lot of people... Come on now. It does matter. Beauty matters. Don't try to fake like it doesn't.
Curtis Dunn will not suddenly make suburban women love Donald Trump. He won't suddenly become warm and fuzzy. But it will do something about the image of Joe Biden, which, as Don Lemon says, is that of a comfortable, old, warm sweater.
A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? I remember this. Would you be mine? And he's acting like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That's Eddie Murphy for those who don't know, just in case, because I know it's a bunch of white people, white Republicans who follow me. And listen, I don't want to just assume that you know that this is Eddie Murphy, because I didn't know George Carlin was. I didn't know. I never heard any stand-ups from Bill Burr until I started doing reactions. I just thought that he was an extra member on freaking the Chappelle Show. So I'm just saying, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So for those people who don't know, that's Eddie Murphy. All right.
Could you be mine?
Could you be mine?
I've always wanted to live in a house like yours, my friend. Maybe when there's nobody home, I'll break in.
So, who is Curtis Dunn, and why should President Trump have brought him up in that crucial debate?
Just a week before Christmas 1972, the wife of newly elected Senator Joe Biden and their baby daughter were killed. And their
What? Wow.
two sons badly injured when the Biden family car was broadsided by a truck at this intersection in Delaware.
Oh, man.
The truck driver, Curtis Dunn, was never charged in the crash.
Now, as you heard...
Wow. So he was the truck driver. He killed Joe Biden's wife and daughter. Did he say daughter or son? Wife and child. And he didn't get arrested?
Curtis Dunn was the driver of the truck that struck and killed Joe Biden's first wife and young daughter and badly injured his 2 sons. Very, very tragic.
Wow.
The man was racked with guilt. But at least on 2 occasions, Joe Biden publicly and falsely asserted that Mr. Dunn, during the accident, was drunk.
Dunn died in 1999, but since then, his family has endured widespread rumors and reports that he had been drinking just before the collision. At least twice, Biden himself has made public references to alcohol being involved in the crash. In 2007, Biden said the truck driver, quote, allegedly drank his lunch. And multiple news outlets, including CBS News, have reported that Dunn was drunk.
Notice that Joe Biden also said, and I'm quoting, and I didn't pursue it, meaning I presume that he had a legitimate lawsuit against the man who struck and killed his wife, but he magnanimously decided not to pursue it. This is from a 2019 article from the Detroit News. But decades later, Biden, on at least 2 occasions, in 2001 and 2007, offered an inaccurate version of Dunn's role in the accident, referring publicly to the truck driver who stopped to drink before driving and describing the driver as a guy who allegedly, and I never pursued it, drank his lunch instead of eating his lunch, end of quote. Now, what exactly did Biden say in 2001 about this accident? To the loved ones of the victims, there is nothing really we can say to erase this tragedy. And those of you who think it's presumptuous of me to say that in a different circumstance, I got one of those phone calls. I got a phone call saying, your wife's dead, your daughter's dead, and I've only said that 3 times in public before. But I say it here because it is so important for you to understand. I got one of those phone calls. It was an errant driver who stopped to drink instead of drive and hit a tractor trailer, hit my children and my wife and killed them, end of quote. Now, Mr. Dunn's daughter, according to that newspaper article, got in touch with Joe Biden to set the record straight. Quote, in 2001, Hamill, the daughter, wrote a heartfelt letter to Biden expressing her father's profound grief after hearing Biden make a post-September 11 speech in which he told the audience that given his history, he could empathize with victims. Growing up, my dad never talked about it. He always got very solemn around Christmas time because the anniversary was December 18 and he never wanted to celebrate the holidays, the daughter said. When newspapers had anniversary articles about the crash, we hid them from Dad.
Wow.
Biden responded in a handwritten note, which in part reads, all I can say is I am sorry for all of us, and please know that neither I nor my sons feel any animosity whatsoever, end of quote. So, matter handled, right? End of case? Well, not exactly, because Biden said the same thing again years later. Here's what he said in 2007, quote, let me tell you a little story. I got elected when I was 29, and on December 18 of that year, my wife and 3 kids were Christmas shopping for a Christmas tree. A tractor trailer, a guy who allegedly, and I never pursued it, drank his lunch instead of eating his lunch, broadsided my family, and killed my wife instantly, and killed my daughter instantly.
Let me tell you something. This brother just never forgave. He just never forgave. And he believed deep down. I don't know if he believed deep down. I don't know Biden like that. I don't. If he was told and he knew for a fact that this man was not drinking, but he still decided to say that publicly every chance he got. That was his attempt to make him feel the way that he felt. It wasn't right. It's sad, man. It's sad that Biden had to go through that. It's also sad that this man who was living from his mistake that caused the lives of 2 people, he can never get any type of forgiveness or redemption from that. Especially if it was completely accidental. If it was completely accidental and he had no drinks and he wasn't drunk or anything like that, what Joe Biden was doing to this man. It's sad. But as they say, hurt people hurt people. I believe there's a lot of truth to that. Hurt people hurt people. And he's trying his best to hurt him in the most legal way possible. Because it's not illegal to lie unless you do it over oath. You do it under oath. So that's why he's doing this over and over and over and over and over again. And he's still giving the same speech that he gave years ago. Because it's embedded in his mind that this guy was drinking his lunch. I don't even know who gave him that daggone line. It's not a good line, but clearly he chose to keep it for all these years and constantly say it. So yeah, this is unfortunate.
And hospitalized my 2 sons with what we thought were at the time permanent fundamental injuries, end of quote. Again, Biden said, and I never pursued it, but was the man drunk? No!
The truth is, it was a tragic accident. No alcohol was involved.
Well, the daughter would say that, right? But what about the man now turned judge who investigated the accident?
That is true. The daughter would say that. But let's see what the judge has to say.
The police reports have been lost, but Delaware Judge Jerome Herlihy, who investigated the crash, supports Hamill. He tells CBS News there was no indication that the truck driver had been drinking.
And according to...
There was no indication that the truck driver has been drinking. And was Biden just not able to accept that? Because I'm certain he was told the exact same thing. Did he just refuse to accept it?
Delaware Superior Court Judge Jerome O. Herlihy, who oversaw the police investigation 36 years ago as chief prosecutor, there is no evidence supporting Biden's claim. The rumor about alcohol being involved by either party, especially the truck driver, is incorrect. Police determined that Biden's first wife drove into the path of Dunn's trailer tractor, possibly because her head was turned and she didn't see the oncoming truck. Dunn, who overturned his rig while swerving to avoid a collision, ran to the wrecked car and was the first to render assistance. Police filed no charges against Dunn, who at the time lived in Northeast Maryland with his wife, Ruby, and their 7 children.
Hold on. So not only did he try to avoid the collision, after the wreck, immediately after the wreck, he was the first person to try to save Joe Biden's wife and kids. Okay, now I'm a little upset that I checked this one out, because when you have a family, you don't want to think about things like this. Why? Because you know you're not above an accident. And when my wife and my children are out there driving, I want to make sure that they return home safe and sound. You know what I mean? And when you think about things like this, it kind of bug you out. It does for me anyway. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, but that's unfortunate that after him trying to do all of that, and this dude had freaking 7 children himself. So clearly he was a man who was trying to live right. He was a man out there trying to take care of his family. And if the judge said, and others have said and swear that there was no alcohol involved, and he wasn't no political figure, he wasn't extremely wealthy, very rich with power, so he couldn't have paid his way out of this. But the police saw it as an accident, and no charges were filed against him. At some point, you got to stop harassing the man, because it was clearly an accident that was clearly unavoidable.
End of quote. And back to the Detroit News, quote, by all accounts, Dunn was absolved of wrongdoing in the accident with no evidence that speeding or alcohol was a factor, end of quote. Again, according to Dunn's daughter, the man was racked with guilt, even though it wasn't his fault. If anything, the fault was Joe Biden's first wife.
He grieved over that. He was haunted and tormented by that for years.
Again, to not only once but twice be publicly accused falsely of having been drunk when you struck and killed a senator's first wife and daughter? And the second time Biden said it, Dunn's daughter reached out again. Hamill, dismayed by the misrepresentations, crusaded to correct the record and got some media attention for her efforts. Biden later called her, at first agitated about the impact the controversy was having on his own mother, who he said had to go on anxiety medication in the daughter's recounting. Further, Biden told her that it was his own son, Beau, who had to retrieve the accident report. Then he was very apologetic, Dunn's daughter continued. By this time, I was in tears. He said, I'm sorry, don't cry. I will come to your home with all your family there and apologize. But Biden told her he would not issue a public apology, telling her that it would end up in all the trashy magazines in the grocery store, end of quote. After 2007, it appeared.
Of course it would, bruh. Because you went all those years publicly saying that the gentleman who killed your wife and daughter was reckless and that he drank his lunch. You've been saying that. So you said, I'm going to quietly apologize to you. I'm going to do it in private, which we should do anyway. We should do it in private, but it should be, the intent should be because I want to respect your privacy, because this is between you and I. This is the respectful way of going about it. That's what the intent should be. The intent should not be, well, you know, I'm not going to do it publicly because all these people are going to know the truth and then they're going to come for me. And come on now. Come on. That's not going to look good for me. Come on. So I got to fix this. I'll fix it privately. I'm going to come to your house. You shut up. You stop jumping out there and saying things, because the whole point of me coming to your house and apologizing is so you can be quiet. It's somewhat of a gag order. So if I come and apologize to you quietly and secretly, remember that part, I'm going to need for you to sign this gag order. All right? NDA, non-disclosure agreement. And you can't speak on this again. All right? All right.
Appears that Biden never publicly said it again. But who says it once, let alone twice? A nice, comfortable, warm, old sweater?
Last fall, a spokesman for Biden said Biden fully accepts the Dunn family's word that these rumors were false.
Nice, old, warm sweater. It's one thing to lie about things like, well, the NAACP has endorsed me in all of my races when the NAACP hasn't. It's another thing to say, well, I was arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela when Nelson Mandela was in prison. No evidence that he did that.
He was a great storyteller, and it's great storytellers lie. I knew Martin Luther King. Yeah, I knew Martin Luther King. We used to play ball together. One day I was walking down the street and somebody jumped out and punched me in my stomach. And I fell on the ground. I looked up and it was Dr. King. I said, Dr. King, why you punch me in the stomach? He said, I thought you were somebody else. That came from Coming to America, another Eddie Murphy movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to go see it. You got to go see it.
No evidence that when Nelson Mandela got out of prison and Joe Biden was vice president, he went to the White House to thank Joe Biden for attempting to visit him. No.
What do you call that when you think you had the same moment twice? Dang it, what is it called, guys? Like, I think that this moment happened before. I think I said the same exact thing before. I think I checked this video. I think I watched this video, stopped it at the same moment, and said the exact same thing. I don't know why I feel that way, but it feels like it. Deja vu. Deja vu. It's like I've seen this before, like I've been here before, like I said that before, like I did this before, like it's late, guys. Now y'all got me being rhythmic, talking about daggone politics.
Evidence of that. No evidence that for decades Joe Biden has claimed he's been working to desegregate restaurants and movie theaters in Wilmington, Delaware, got his start in the black church. People at the black church say, who, where, what? No evidence of any of that. It's one thing to make those kinds of lies because you're not demeaning a human being. It's another thing to falsely, publicly accuse a man of having been drunk when he struck and killed Joe Biden's first wife and child when the man was not drunk? What old sweater does that? And it's too bad the American people were not informed of this during that second debate. I believe it would have made a difference.
Why Larry Elder keep on talking about an old sweater? Please tell me the inside joke with that one right there. It's unfortunate that Joe Biden had to do this to this dude, and it's even more unfortunate that his wife and his daughter had to die prematurely. But justice, it seems like justice was served in this, especially if the gentleman was not speeding and he was not drinking. But Joe Biden, you're wrong, man. You can't do that to people just because you're hurt. You can't make people feel like trash and feel all even more regret than they're already feeling, because most good people, if they accidentally take someone's life, or even if they take someone's life purposefully, you know, it's very difficult to get over that feeling. I would imagine. Okay, I have no experience in that. Okay, make sure that's on the record. Okay, I have no experience at all, and nor do I know anybody who got that experience. Put that on the record. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments below, and if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing per usual. Love ya.